Can we hear more about the process of writing the script, and also how are you writing it and then writing the web series, or you're not writing it at the same time? Or?
Sure. So I write them independently at first. I generally will start with the feature script because still the feature film is still paramount in this whole creative process. You have to have something to hang everything on. It's like what I call the main event. And so the web series is secondary to that, but it has to be able to fit into the film script. And what I mean by that is like certain story elements have to be parallel. I then have holders, what I call them, that there might be a scene, the same scene in the web series that's also in the film, told from a different perspective so that the audience knows that this is the storyline. And so it sounds very complex. And so what you need to do is you need to start to map it out. And what I'll do is I will print out each scene by scene. And what I'll do is I will tab out the scene, so it's a white page then, and keep everything very, very separate. And then what I'll do then is on a different color paper, I will then print out the web series and collate them together and then read them all in one continuous story to make sure that everything makes sense, and then I'll start making edits from that. So again, what I do is I will tab out each scene, have it all individually, and then I'll color code it with the web series so that I can make sure that it's one cohesive story. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense to you?
Somewhat. So with the 410 pages, how is that, if I'm reading it, is that like, is part of it in the middle, then we stopping for the web series, or I'm just curious how that works?
No, it can actually read as one long script.
One long script.
Yeah, so I know which is which by the color of paper.
Okay.
And also just by being the author of it too, I know which is which. But it should be able to read as one cohesive story, if you're sitting down to read all 410 pages.
And so when you're saying a main event and now it's taking place in the web series from another perspective, it just all flows because now you know it's somebody else's experience with that same event?
Yes, like for instance, the ascent of the billboard, right? So the characters go up on the billboard in both the web series and also in the film. But then once they get up to the billboard, it's different, right? The radio station has what they have to deal with, and the billboard sitters have to deal with what they have to deal with. And so that's like literally what I would call a holder. So that's like literally the start of the web series and then part of the film. Then what might be happening, like something happens up on the billboard, the radio station jocks react, and then you see what is actually going on the billboard. So it's like, that's how it all works out. It's like cause and effect kind of play.
Right, okay. So when you would make a change to the main part of the story, take us through the process of then going back in and is it just, at this moment in the web series is a similar moment in the script, and so just to go in and modify?
Yeah, and also too, it has to be something that is also provocative as well. You know what I mean? Like you can't have something that doesn't provoke that change. And what I mean by that is a matter of if you change something in one, you might have to change something in the other. Again, because a lot of it's cause and effect. It's two different points of view of the same story. But then the challenge comes in, then you shoot all this stuff, and then you're in the editing room and you want to make a change. So then not only do you have to worry about changing the film that it makes sense, now you have to change the web series to make sure it makes sense and that everything actually works together. It's extremely complex, very, very complex. And so there's a lot of organization that takes place, there's a lot of work that takes place, and everybody has to be on the same page, and everybody really, really needs to pay hyper attention to continuity. Because without good continuity, like this stuff will fall apart very fast. It becomes a mess. And the reason that I feel that what we're doing works is because we paid so much attention to that.
So you're releasing the web series, you've already released it, all the sections before the actual feature film has come out.
We did, yeah. And so, but it's funny is because people that see the film want to see the web series generally. That's generally how it's been happening. And so the people have been downloading the web series. They can go to billboardmovie.com, and then it's up on Vimeo right now. The web series will be released on other digital platforms, but we chose that first because there is a paywall there, because obviously we need to make money, and because this content has just cost us a lot of freaking money. Also, we went that model instead of the YouTube model, just because of we wanted people to buy into the story world, not just watch content. Yeah, it's two different ways of looking at things, two different mindsets you're going to view content then.
Interesting. So if you had all the parts of the web series uploaded for free on YouTube where there was no paywall for it, you felt that people wouldn't be as engaged?
It just is content then, I feel. Just more noise out there. Like we do have short aspects of the web series up on YouTube, but it's pretty much for promotional purposes, for the longer episodes. But it's just a matter of like one of those decisions I had to make is like where I wanted this to live and to be seen. And so it lives on Vimeo is the portal that we're choosing for right now.
And will you put the feature film with a paywall online for people?
Yeah, not right now because we're in theaters, but we will. It's going to be, it's going to end up on iTunes, Amazon, Roku, AdRise, like all these other portals and stuff. Just not in the U.S., but internationally as well.
So with your tour, are you going overseas at all?
I hope so. It's funny because In Search of did better overseas than it did in the United States. I have more of a European sensibility to filmmaking, I guess. I didn't know that. And it's not my intention. It just ends up being that way. Because I guess I'm okay with things not being wrapped up in a pretty bow. And I'm more of a very authentic storyteller, and I don't mind the rawness of things. And so, like for instance, with In Search of, there was a lot of nudity in it, our puritanic society has a hard time with seeing penises and breasts. I don't get it. I really don't. Or they find it titillating, which I think is a crock of shit. So in Europe, it's not a big deal. I'm constantly pushing the boundaries on things in storytelling. I mean, we got an R rating, so it wasn't, sex or anything like that. It's just a matter of like the human body. It's just kind of weird.